Okie dokes. Oh, where's my opening giggle track? I need an opening giggle track. I also need to get my earbuds on. I'm just going to take it easy for the next hour or so. I do believe that there is some scheduled broadcasting that's going to be coming up at about midnight-ish. So I thought that I would just come online and go through some steps and things that I learned. There's really not any, I don't have any, like huge things that maybe other users might be aware of. But I thought it was a good idea to kind of go through the steps and what we've learned about Discord. This fabulous platform everybody talks about and everybody's on. And it seems that it's actually even more popular than when Slack came on, which, I've loved. I've enjoyed Slack. It went through a horrible phishing attempts with users. And, so the Discord seemed to be a good fit. And of course, we went over there, and I'll talk about it more in just a moment as soon as I get the stream kind of up and going and check to make sure that we're live on YouTube. Move my chart over a little bit here. And what you're kind of seeing is a close-up. It's a blowout. If you want to see the bigger chart, then ask for an invite to come on over to the Beauty Bubble on Discord. New name, new channel, and we'll explain all of that in just a little bit. But there was someone that came into my purview who was, talking about a bearish scenario, and I was kind of listening to the bulls come through, and I try and look at the charts from both sides, always. What's the chart actually sharing with me? And so I'm going to cover a little bit of that in just a little bit and see whether or not this bearish, full bearish scenario has any legs or is it chopping away at the long? So we'll get into that too. So let me go on over to YouTube to make sure that we're fine over there. In just a moment. And we'll go through the regular things. And like I said, there's no real agenda today except for to go through some of the steps. Obviously, if the trade starts to take a little bit more of a direction, then we'll get on going. Okay, Jacob, hi, and I am Dirk Smooth. Hi, how are you? Yes, you can. Hold on just a moment. Remember, there's about it can be up to like a 40 seconds to 60 second delay from when I get your chat, okay? So hold on just a minute. Let me go ahead and welcome the chat and make sure that our Nightbot is up and going. And we always do that because the Nightbot has a tendency to get a little wonky sometimes. And so we'll get that all up and warmed up there with the commands. And oh, you do? Okay. Oh, good. Good. Well, let me first of all let me just get myself situated here. I am Dirk Smooth, okay, and then we'll start to answer some of your questions. I'd love to talk to you about the other outreaches that are out there and other platforms that I've used and so forth. So first things first is welcome. Hi, everybody. I'm Beauty Bubble, aka The Beauty Bubble here on YouTube, and also aka The Beauty Bubble on Discord. I am the founder and a co-inspirator of Ruby, who is the chart that you see in front of you is a stacking sequence of EMAs that was developed in 2012, and we went through some iterations, and then we finally found a coder who would take her on and coded her. We found someone that was willing to code a little bit of the script in Python, and we ran the back testing on Mira. If you've ever heard of Mira, back in December of 2013. And sometimes I publish the numbers. It's all on GitHub if you wanted to check it out. We're one of the few, actually, modern indicators that took on Bitcoin early on the Mt. Gox pair. And, that actually produced some back testing. It was supposed to be very young, just an entry kind of level. uh, for the junior trader to look at a different way of charting. And it was supposed to be really the beginning of many things. And so Chart Chat Connect was born out of traders getting together, charting, chatting, and connecting with each other from all over the world. And it was actually very successful. And but I'm not the easiest person to get along with, and I try not to put up with too much bullshit. And I've been heavily trolled from 2012 on to just 2 days ago. 2 days ago, we had a pretty decent little Discord that I was enjoying, and we were coming onto YouTube and building it gently and so forth. And you know, we got trolled pretty heavily in the middle of the build, and they took advantage of the server being as young as it was. I didn't have permissions on it, and because I figured that it was open source, who would want to come in and destroy the work that we were doing? I didn't seem right to me, but they came in using the one word that I will not tolerate in any of my forums, and that's the CUNT word. Anything that's related in that way, in that effort, in that push, I won't handle it. And I told the person to change their handle, and they did. And then this little group of 4 or 5 little pirate trolls decided that you know, they would get upset, you know, at my personality, and they took control of the channel. They took everything, all the channels, all the charts, all the links, all the resources, all the book links, all of our property, really, all of our property, not just mine, not just my consciousness, not just the pictures. All the pictures, of course, are gone. All the theories, the little code snippets and everything. I just wrote a little piece on Twitter about it. So we're going to do a little bit of drama rant about that. And so I want to get it a little bit out of my system without being told, you know, I don't want the drama, beauty. Okay, so I just want to warn you: if you don't want the drama, if you don't want the bloody truth about Bitcoin, about how people are treated in the ecosystem, it's better for you to go find another channel. You know what I mean? Like, my feelings won't be hurt. Truly, they won't. But what I'm not going to do is stand and have to learn, you know, learn this whole thing. Well, you know, stop. I don't want to hear the drama, okay? Because we're all in the drama, people. Look at the trade right now. I mean, look at the trade right now. Do you know where Litecoin is right now? Look at our trade right now. It's $16,668. Now, if you don't think that there's some friggin' drama involved, if you don't think that there's real people involved, you are nuts. And the rule that I have is that you live by open source, you live your life by open source, and therefore that should be respected and honored. I don't hide behind anything. You can go into my YouTube, into my older streams, if you want to see me, and you can do that. And threatening me at all about, you know, knowing where I live and all of that, that information is shared with people that are better suited to handle it than I am. Clearly, I am not suited to handle being threatened online. I've been threatened online, and I'm not the best person. I'm not the best person suited to respond well to it, and everyone knows that. Everyone knows that they're going to get something out of me if they use the CUNT word. And I'll tell you what I'd like to see is you go to your mama and you call her that word, and then you come back and you tell me what her response was. Or you tell a fellow employee, or you tell your boss, or you tell your accountant, or your bank teller, or your grocery clerk that she is a CUNT, and do not tell me that she's not going to turn around and have some drama on your ass. There's going to be drama, people. Okay? There's going to be drama. So that's what I would rather that you get over. Start listening to people. People want to be heard. There's 2 things that people want. They want to know that they've been heard, and they want to know that they've been loved. And if you don't understand those two premises, then clearly you don't have a human head. And I don't believe for one moment that you were involved in Bitcoin. I don't effing believe it at all. I do not. I don't think you've read the white paper. I don't think that you've sat down with Core. I don't think that you know the big names in the space. I don't think that you've ever listened to anybody or been to the conferences or done anything. I really don't. So the other rule is that I do not ban, mute, flag, report unless it is absolutely necessary. I do wholesale bannings with people that have used the C word, such as Sparks Hard, okay? Sparks Hard wants you to know, even though not me, but Google picked it up. Sparks Hard wants you to know that he went to his mom's grave and called her a cunt, and she didn't say anything. There you go. So we're going to take a little vote here in the room. The 6 people that are watching. Should I ban and report Sparks Hard or not? You think that that's tolerable? That I should just let it slide? It's the last rule that I have. Do you think I should let it slide? You tell me, and we'll just wait a few days. Let's just figure it out. Your little message is now held for review on YouTube. YouTube is going to see it and start to ghost ban me anyway. So we're done, okay? We're done. We're done. Of course, I know. Of course, I know what the rules are. The thing is that it's a ruleless, and they're coming in. The reason that we have 6 people is because they can't get enough. This insatiable, this appetite that they have, because they don't have. I can show you. In fact, I wouldn't mind. I am Dirk Smooth. Can you give them your Twitch account? Let's see if they'll go over there. Give them your Twitch account. Let's figure out where else they can go. All right. So we are going to talk about what happened yesterday and the day before on Discord, and that they're here because of that, and they want to know what's going on, and so they're going to learn. Right. I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. So what we'll have to do here is just Beauty Bubble will go ahead and deal with it, because all this ignoring things means that you're ignorant of what they do and how they do it, and etc. And I'm about to tell you in a few moments here how they came into the Discord and how they took from me. They stole from me my intellectual property, my rights to peace and freedom over at Discord to run a server the way that I want to run a server. Not the way they want me to run the server, but the way that I want to run the server, which is open source, freedom of speech, free to speech. Just don't use the one word, which is the CUNT word. That was it. You didn't have to do jack over there. You could have squatted over there for 3 months. You could have squatted over there and said nothing. I think it is odd, though, that people come in and they squat and then they do say nothing, but I understand it. But you stole from me, dude. You and your little horde, your little herd, stole from me. And what goes around comes around. Clearly, it does. So let me walk you guys through what happened yesterday as the trade pulls back. And if you were in my friggin' Discord, you would have known that at the trendline break. You would have known it the first time, and you would be knowing it now. You are looking at a BTC USD Coinbase, 15-minute. There is a larger chart out there over at the Discord. And because they're in the room now, I'm not going to be putting the Discord link up because the link has to be sent to you directly, which means that I have to follow you over at YouTube. And if you have a comment, I might be able to put your invite there, but you can't send invites out. because they're here looking for the invite. All right, let me blow the chart out so we can get some symbolism here because it's too up close. And we'll go ahead and go to the 1 hour, which is what Ruby is built on. And what we located, well, let me see if I can branch this out just a little teeny bit. Let me go ahead and go to the 2 hour so you guys can kind of see. When you start having to look at a chart differently because people are telling you that the trade is long, the trade is long. All right, so you have to look for the other side of things. You have to be reasonable about it. You cannot be, in your sentiment, I think that it's very cool to be one direction or another. In your discourse about the direction of Bitcoin, okay, that's a different kind of direction. We're talking about the direction of either your investment, your short-term trade outlook. That's what we're talking about here. And so you do have to, the charts are useful in that way. And if you don't dig TA, it's fine. It's respected. Unless you're going to go into depth of market, and we are going to talk a little bit about that. Some of the new work that's coming out with depth of market that's fascinating. But, there's enough literature, there's enough books that have written about TA, and if your bottom line is that you just don't believe it, that's all cool and fine. I find it fascinating because it allows for a certain manner of narrative so that then we can communicate with one another, okay? And we can isolate things and try and understand things based on a syntax of terms that are used in technical analysis. And it can be really fascinating. And there's always a new way to look at cryptocurrency. There are just really only a couple of newer kind of modern indicators or new ways of looking at things. And then, of course, the narrative becomes, some people would say gobbledygook or, speaking in rubbish. That's another one that I used to get a lot. She's just talking drivel and rubbish and all of that. But it's just learning a new way of evaluating the potential, the projection of price, which is what everyone is after. Where is price going to go? When and why? And what will be the intensity of that move? Because people are very short-lived in these things. Rarely will they take a Ruby cross and say, I'm going to take the Ruby cross, to the 45-degree line, and then I'm going to let it go. They rarely will kind of formulate a trade like that. But, these trades can be profitable if that's your thing. So today, we heard this bearish sentiment that the trade is going to go, and you can see my numbers. I know when the 13,400 came in, I had the low at 13,129. You missed it by $200 or so. And when that line was here, and it has always been there, when we hit the 19,000, of course, it was ridiculous for me to ever show that line. But by not changing the line, of course, it helps. And there's the $10,000 mark right there. Same thing. 13,129, 12,313, 10,000, which of course is an emotional level, which is down here. And we missed that by $400. I'm sorry, when I talked about the 13,129. So we missed that line by $400. There you go. And anyone that had kind of circled around some bids around $500, well, then you would have caught the low. Very difficult to do, but this is a 2-hour bar. And, you may have been able to see other things in the pattern as it started to kind of wane and become slower in its growth and velocity. And so, of course, there were a few people that were able to pick up price inside of here, but it was the 10, the 12, or the 13. It's possible that they went ahead and took their long there. Got their heads handed to them because it always looks for a retest, which is what we see here. So the market retested the line. So we're able to pick it up here, and then now it's retooled out. And then this is the area here that we're dealing with now from the high up here and only one wick high here. So it creates if you guys can see it, creates a pattern. It's not a perfect a triangle. It's more of an ascending wedge, but it's very gently an ascending wedge. Most people would look at it as is a perfect triangle. All right, so let me go back over to, and okay, let me check the chat out. Oh, good. Okay, fine enough. That's right. Perfect place. Perfect place. Okay, let me catch up on the chat if you don't mind. Okay, thank you everyone for just saying hello, right? I appreciate that. It's a nice way to start the day. We're just going to kind of avoid. I'm not ignoring you, Sparks Hard, because I think I can bring you around, but I'm just going to kind of jump over what you have to say. And of course, I have people from the Discord that would like for me to just go ahead and move on, because time spent away from what I know to these people that I don't know hurts everybody. Hit me up and I'll open source repair your cuntish place. Okay. All right, so that is going to go on back over to Discord. Thank you. All these things help Discord make a decision. I respect you, Beauty, but this isn't reasonable. Kelly Lofton, what do you mean? I respect you. Why would you respect me? I'm just a lady on the internet. What do you mean by that you respect me? I don't get that. Don't spread. Okay. Okay, so let me run over to, you guys don't mind, let me run over to CoinScoop. And here, and you sent me a message. I don't think you can send me a message over here. Yeah, so that didn't happen. And I see, got it. Hey, you. Okay, until about midnight on the CoinScoop. I think the CoinScoop is coming on live at about midnight, if I'm not mistaken. And let me see what we have here. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. And go here. And Dirk Smoo, if you don't mind, when we're over at the CoinScoop tonight, if you don't mind connecting with me on their chat, and then I'll make sure that something gets to you right away, okay? But I do see your message. Can you hear me? Let me get my link out to 2222. All right, and then we'll get into some of the cool things that we've learned about rebuilding your Discord server. Yeah. That works for me too, okay? Because there's the Discord, we may not get like going. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that's over there right now, but I have to get you your permissions and all of that so that you can read the prior stuff. So we'll get you there, okay? All right, back to the chart. So this particular pattern, what you see here, this is called the building of the heel. At least that's what I call it. That's how I grew up drawing these, is that this area right here is the heel. And what happens with these patterns, even though in crypto I do believe they fail quite often, is that the pattern will seek to continue itself. Now, an ascending wedge, many times the ascending wedge, the pressure from down below, pushes up the pressure from up above, and what happens is that we get what I call a T-spout effect. And I don't use traditional terms, but what will happen is that the trade will be pressed downwards. And you can look this up on the internet. And you'll see both scenarios, actually. There's some traders that believe, no, the pressure that's from up above will create a move to the upside, and so you'll get that. But generally, the math that you really want to look for is that from here to the apex, if you use your ray tool, somewhere in between 75% of that move, you will see resolution. Meaning resolution will begin. One thing can happen is that there's a false break, it rapidly comes through the triangle, and then it flushes down to the downside. Of course, having to pick up all the areas on the left of the chart, it gets snagged at one level, another support, another, it goes all the way down like that. And it stair steps down. It can take a flush down, it can take stair steps down. I often follow the EMAs for the flush, and as I'm anticipating how much we will lose of the long, because right now Ruby is long, and so I can't go against the theory of Ruby until the 841 crosses. Not because I'm not talking about trade management. I'm talking about the cross and how you manage the guided move, and in this case, it is long. But of course, the current condition is that we are facing potentially a bearish move. The flush, I don't know how much the flush will be. So we'll go from the 2 hour to the 1 hour. There we go. We'll open this chart up a little bit. And so you knew where these things came from, these markings down here. In fact, there's the one, if you can see when I open up the trading view, the bullet right there. We forgive occasionally, okay? Especially if a wick comes down and through but gets supported again, we accept that one. If a wick comes through and it gets supported again, we accept the fact that the trend line has been breached, but for an hour and not a full flush and out and down. So we'll accept that the trend line is a decent trend line from the underneath, okay? And then from the above, and we'll go into a 30-minute bar. Remember, the chart is exactly the same. Remember, it's built on a 60-minute, so that's why it's all choppy and granulated, because the EMAs are now kind of stretched out, and you're seeing them pixelated because we're in a 30-minute bar, and you'll even see it worse so when you get into the 15, 5, and 3, so forth and so on. So here's the upper piece right there. You can see the bullet line there, so that we know the trend line is good. And once again, one reason that we're going to accept the trend line is that we've got a little funny doji right there. A lot of people won't catch those, but there are doji hunters out there. But that is I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is a doji. That is a symbol of the end of a move. Now I can flag out and move back up around, but it is the telltale sign that there is exhaustion in the long, and that we may be looking at a downturn. Okay, this area of blue, of course, is just that whole area of the end of the apex, so that's why it's all kind of mushed out like that as well. But we'll go ahead and keep it on the chart. Go into the 15-minute, which is the chart that I usually showcase in the Discord, because after everyone's kind of gone through, and you should do this on your own chart too, and it's like even when you're posting, it should be, 4 hour, 60-minute, 15-minute, and then you can drill down if you wanted to. But at least those 3 time frames allows for all of us to kind of get a flipbook view of what you're seeing and what is the potential of the move. I hope you guys got that. Did everybody kind of get that? It is not. It is an 841. The basis of Ruby is an 841. Let me see here. Okay, so a lot of this still has to do with the Discord stuff. Hi, Crypto Watchdog. Nice to see you in the chat. Did you want a panel link, or because we're going to be on for about an hour? We've already been on for 30 minutes. So I know that you're looking at the Litecoin, and we're going to be bringing this up. Let's see. Hand up smooth. Okay, I think I'm caught up. And then Kelly Lofton, I'm not so certain about what your concerns were, except for you're open-minded. You speak the truth even if it's harsh. It's just a personality flaw. The harshness, following through with your harshness means that you're going to go into someone else's stream and really create havoc, or how to white hat hack a chat room, and you do that sort of follow-up, right? That harshness of follow-up. I'm very much kind of ephemeral, that I just put out some simple rules, and these are, I mean, everyone should have some simple life rules. It's called the business of life. And you should have rules just like rules of the road, just rules. And it doesn't mean that I'm trying to police anybody. I can't police anybody. It's not my job to do that. But, simple rules. So, of course, we had some simple rules, making sure that everybody knew that we were open source. And we wanted to keep it that way. And there was no banning, flagging, muting, reporting, etc. And the other rules were, like check in, right? I mean, if you want to be a lurker, okay, but the reason for Chart Chat Connect, it's only open for 3 months. And the reason behind it is to chart, right? And it doesn't matter if your charting is weak or misunderstood or anything like that, because we've all been there before. And to chat, right? And to talk about what you see and to connect with others worldwide. That's really it. And I'm asked about what the attention is and all of this sort of thing. It's right in the branding. It's been the same way forever, and since October 2013. And I've had my website hacked. I've had my Twitter hacked. I put this all out on Twitter. The loss of time and property is absolutely insane, even in light of ignoring it. Even in light, I do not know what the fascination is. I really don't. Okay, well, we can take a look at the alts. I'm completely open to alts. I think that talking about their dynamic on the charts, I'm doing this expose on BitConnect, for example, and I'm fascinated by the way that the alts move, and they're very difficult to chart. And there are techniques, though, that I think that people might benefit from exploring. Okie dokes, let's see here. On the Twitter side of life, we're going to go ahead and notifications. Thank you for the recent follows, everybody. Okay, let me go ahead and get out even though I'm 30 minutes late in doing it. Thank you for the thumbs up and thank you for the thumbs down. It lets YouTube know that we're alive here. And we'll go for the hashtag for Bitcoin and the hashtag for the Discord. And for about an hour. Let's see, until about midnight. Okay, there's the Twitter. So let me go through. If you understand anything about the way that YouTube works, by the way, we were number 13 in the rankings for the word Bitcoin. I'm pretty proud about that. I'm very proud that that would happen. And I discovered that actually yesterday. That means that of all the people, in fact, if you were to go Bitcoin live right now over at YouTube, we're competing with anywhere between like 1,200 to 2,200 individual events, live events. Now, some of them are recorded, they use OBS or Wirecast, and so it's recorded sequence kind of stuff, but I don't know how much is actually live, but that's something to be really proud of on YouTube, and I'll be reading the disclaimer in just a moment. That if you don't let YouTube know that we're here, they do what's called, they do ghost, they mute you ghosting. They push the content way down in the timeline. Even when you're looking for features, they push us way down because we just don't, we don't have the numbers. We don't have, for almost 8 years at the end of January, I will have been on YouTube for 8 years, and I had to fight for the required 10,000 lifetime viewers in the last 2.5 months. It's been my sole campaign to make sure that I met their requirements of the 10,000 lifetime viewers. And so YouTube is it's a hard game, and it requires you to just involve yourself simply. Like, share it out, and there's a multiple of ways that you can share it out, and go ahead and say whatever it is that you want to say about the broadcast, and subscribe, and then get notified, because you never know when I'm going to go live. We do try and go live at least once a day, and I say we. There are people that enjoy going live on their own channels that I promote, and they're happy to come and sit on the panel. There's 9 seats plus myself that are available on the panel, and that's how Chat Connect started out. Was we did Hangouts, and so we can get up to 10 people, including the host. So if you want more of this, you have to encourage more of this, because we're happy to just put them in private and unlisted, just so that we have them documented. Okie dokes, where are we? We're going to get a little tighter in so you can actually see the granularity here. This is a 5-minute. And so this was the trade as it moved beyond, okay? And then, of course, the doji. That's what a doji looks like when it's all put in a granular format. And if you're a candle study guy, then that will really excite you, because you'll be able to read that and you'll go, oh, I see. That is the end. That's the end of the run. And so we should be looking for a pullback. Now I'll go ahead and take this line out because there's no reason to show that up close. So we get the trade that comes under. There's another doji here, which is it can be the conclusion of this accelerated pullback. We flag out. That flag becomes the bull up here. So we flag out, we pull back, we go bull. Then end. You see that? Let me see if I can close up here. This is a style of a doji right there. Okay. It's a long-legged doji, and that's the end of the long. And then the trade goes short where? At the trend line. There you go. There's the trend line right there. And the trade starts to take some move to go bear. 1, 2, remember we're 5-minute. 1, 2, 3, 4 bear candles. Very weak recovery. It continues 5, 6 bear. 1 very weak recovery. A nice whoosh down. And move, 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 move. Remember, I'm very tight in the trade right now. And then, of course, we see the dust come in, and it's settling out. However, there's one interesting thing that's happening right now, which is where the 8 EMA, and you can study Forex traders to know anything about an 8 or a 9 EMA or SMA. There's different techniques out there. Where if the 8 eclipses the close, if the 8 is over the close, the condition of the trade is short. The condition of the trade. It does not mean that there won't be a power long, but the condition of the trade is short. Then you see this other green line here. This is another EMA that, once again, we're stacking the EMA. And the stack forces the trade to then take another move down. Stacking here, 8. Stacking here. Now the 8 and the stack are closing up. So we're getting ready for another pinch. And very much like a Bollinger Band, this may act as enough to pinch the price down. And then we would get into that circle area and towards the peak high, which is 16,484. So that's why we chart. We're able to follow the short. We know exactly what's happening. We can then craft our decision. Of course, it's 2 minutes after 11 right now, so it's kind of like, all right, are we looking for Is there any material thing that's going to change the chart based on time? Is there anything materially that's going to change the price based on a dated event? A piece of news that's shared with us that at 11:15 on Saturday night, or is there going to be a podium play? Is a major political figure going to be talking, or are one of the exchanges going to go on a system outage or something like that? So you go through this marvelous little checklist, almost like flying a plane, and you go through this checklist, and then you see, well, it's 11:03 in the evening, and I did not take the bear move, and we'll do some measurements here to see where it's at right now. We know that it's a long. The full condition of the trade is still long because it has not turned short, but we are in a bearish situation. I always have trouble deciding the words that I want to use, but we're in a bearish situation. We're ledging up, as you guys can see here. Remember, we're on a 5-minute now, so we ledge up. And the tradition is that it ledges up, it exhausts, it falls back down. And it can do that 4 times, 3 times, 5 times, unless there's enough here in this move right there, and we'll have to go to the left of the chart. If there's enough in the candles here to hold the price, to power through and go ahead and take its rightful ownership with the bulls. And then inside here, you can do trend lines and other sorts of things, and looking and looking and looking, okay? And then because we'll just candle by candle tick here as this thing. I do that. I say that a lot as this thing. When you work with a lot of times you'll not say the most becoming. You won't use the most becoming words, or being very poetic. So there's the tick by tick. If you guys can see that on the 1 minute, you know perfectly well that the 8 is above there. Another EMA is above there. We know that that cloud circle that fills in the apex of the triangle is right below all of that. Also with the local high is down there too. Okay, so does everyone kind of get where price is right now in their mind? Okay. Yes, exactly. There's a lot of talk about that, and I think that there's actually more math that's going involved in, how do you remotivate yourself from Bitcoin and the other majors and go into alts. And so I think that people are becoming much more willing, much more flexible to be doing this, provided they're not in rooms that are shaming them. Because if you are in it, right, to make money to do good, let's say, or if you know what your motivation is, then having a core position of Bitcoin and then going out and examining and being involved in other projects and seeing how the prices move and all that. In my world, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like telling me that I can't own Gorilla Glass, that I should own more Apple than Gorilla Glass. But there's sometimes when you have to own Apple, you have to shore up your position in Apple and let it go so that you can go and look into their materials, how they're trucking, their real estate holdings, etc. So it's the same sort of thing. It's ridiculous to think that that we cannot have a fiscal, discussion about, where the money is. I mean, I follow the money. I don't know what is wrong with that. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. And first of all, it's an industry. It's a sector. It is not a religion. But yet, we seem to get caught up in this cultural warfare between Bitcoin and the alternative market. And that's just, it's just unreasonable. And we can see it. We can see it when we visit all of these websites, CoinMarketCap, for example. I will give out actually, the CoinMarketCap it seems like every day I come on here, it's better and better. Even though I think he's selling a little bit too much advertising. I've been in rooms where the top 20 Basically, besides 2 coins, the top 20 coins were all called shitcoins. 20 of them now. 20. Change of price. 5% in the last 24 hours. Another price, 2.7%. Another price, 8.35%. Another one, 9% up. Another one, 3.62 up. This is called making money. This is called following the money. I don't know anyone that has a legitimate reason for shaming anyone that wants to go into this market to make money, to do good. And I think that we should not be, we shouldn't be, well, we should be looking at all things, and we should have a decent, a reputation among ourselves to see what's good and see what's worth the risk and know the risks, etc. So this is why I love the Coin Scoop, because they're they have their own, love affair with things, but they at least allow us freely to talk about them, and it's not just all shut up, that's a shit coin, shut up, we don't talk about those things, shut up, because we're not just talking about the mechanism, we're talking about the people, the coders, the equipment that they use, where they work, their families, and it's not for me. So that's why over at the Beauty Bubble on Discord, it's a free, we're going to talk about everything. I don't ever want it to be where, we only talk about Bitcoin because that's the right thing to do. There's nothing right. And I'll tell you this about money, okay? Money is not right or wrong. If you want to show me wrong money, I can peel it back 5 minutes and I can show you right money, okay? And it's the same, so money doesn't think that way. Money isn't a personality. And if you are in the market as a speculator, then you come from maybe a little bit of a different sort of attitude about how you trade these things. I'm just in it for the quick buck. Even if you talk about money that way, and we'll do an episode where I'll go through how to respect money. But if you're talking about it, yeah, I'm raising like 5K, yeah, I'm looking for like $100. I don't really think you're in the market. I don't think you've been around a lot of people that trade the market. I really, really don't. And respecting money and knowing how it works and knowing how to get it, knowing how to speculate, and knowing all of these things is a very respected vocation, and it's very profitable. And speaking of which, I will go ahead and read the disclaimer now, if you guys don't mind, because the market, we're just a little bit of dust right here in Coinbase at 10 minutes after 11 o'clock. And like I said, we will run the ship until the Coin Scoop goes live, and maybe I am Dirk Smooth. If you hear that they're going live, can you let me know, because my notifications sometimes can be off. We've all noticed that we can be off by about 27 minutes even sometimes. I am Dirk Smooth in the live chat is saying, I just want to diversify my portfolio. So if one dips, the other picks up, and it's all profit at the end of the day. And so, yeah, exactly. And as far as like a tribe or trying to create some sort of a good community that understands that, you have to, we don't have to all be, sitting around kumbaya, because there are some instruments that clearly are stranger danger, that are bad. And the Coin Scoop, Crypto Watchdog, I've told you this now, how many times now, love? I'm gonna get crazy with you now. The Coin Scoop, I've even given you their URL for YouTube and their Discord channel. The Coin Scoop. Oh my gosh. I know my mic is working. Okay. All right. So here we go. Many times when we come live, we don't have audio, or we're not going to be doing like audio the entire time. Maybe we're watching a move, and then I'll let the stream just kind of run with no audio. And there's nothing wrong with that. CNBC does it over at Facebook. That's where I got the idea that it's okay that I'm not talking, you know, that it's okay when I've decided that I don't want to talk for 2 hours straight. And the stream is to serve as an archive. I mean, the essence of why the stream goes live is to serve as an archive of price action during volatile moves. That's so that we have something that is archived, that we can go back and we can study, and we can not just, you know, oh, let's watch Beautygan, share all that, but no, that we can look back and scrub through and see, especially when power moves come in, is there anything that we can learn from how these moves happen, and why they happen, and what did we miss, and why did we think it was going to move then, but then nothing, you know, nothing happened. And Litecoin is a good example. We hunted that trade yesterday, and, you know, literally for most of the day, nothing happened. And, you know, here we are. So here's a disclaimer, okay? And one day I'll read this so that all I have to do is kind of play it on my iPhone to you or whatever. Please be advised that all content in the charts shown is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. Trading the stock, bond, currency, cryptocurrency, commodity, and futures markets can be rewarding, but is also risky. Be aware that you can lose money and in some ways lose more than you have. It can also be profitable, but not without significant risks. You are responsible for your own independent investment transactions. The charts shown are not to serve as an investment advisory service. I highly encourage you to seek professional advice in regard to your own financial decisions. Information you may get from any chart shown and its further discussion in other chat rooms or forums may not reflect my opinions at the time. The chart shown in their content is not a I always stumble over this, is not a solicitation nor an offer for professional investment advice, nor is it an offer to buy or sell stocks, bonds, currencies, cryptocurrencies, commodities, and or futures. And just so that you know, the YouTube channel is in review for monetization approval. We've been waiting well over the 7 days that they said that we would have to wait. We've done absolutely everything. We've queued up our AdSense. We've met the 10,000 required lifetime viewers. We go live every day. We're in an absolutely, in my opinion, we've been, you know, we have been in the market du jour now for a long time. But, you know, now that I see most of the big advertisers that are spending money on YouTube are cryptocurrency centric. And so I don't know why we haven't picked up. When I do go live and I'm monetized, it equals about 2 cents, just so that you know. And in 8 years, I've accrued $11 that they put in escrow when the apocalypse came. And of course, I lost monetization rights. Okay, so we'll take the disclaimer off. There we go. And then let's see what we've got going on in chat, and then we'll move on to the Discord thing. You are entertained. Ah, the anvil. Okay, right. We'll get into let's get into crypto watchdog. Okay, you guys, even if the only reason that you come over to the Beauty Bubble on Discord, he is well, he's a storm chaser as a hobby or profession or vocation. I don't really know what the deep dive is, but he's a storm chaser. And if you know anything about storm chasing, you begin to see, whether it's because it's just how your natural eye works or your trained eye, you get to see in 3D. And you're literally walking around in 3D. And so he was given the opportunity to take a look at a new offer over at Sierra Charts that graphically displays the order book as it's coming in, and you can either see the numbers or you can see colors. And these colors are gradated based on the bid and the ask. And he got an opportunity to like sit at a dash that was live. And so he did this incredible live read of what the next candle was going to be based on the way that he sees things, his 3D modeling. Really very, very clever guy. So yesterday we took a look at Litecoin. And he's like, okay, well, let me take a look at Litecoin on, we have a beta chart that we're running right now. And he says, you know what, I think I see this, and I think I see that. And he was relating it, if you can believe it, to the weather patterns that occur and all the conditions that occur during a what? Say it in the chat. What do you think what kind of a pattern? Remember, he's a storm chaser. So what kind of a pattern do you think that he was looking at when he was looking at the chart? Okay, I'll wait for the chat while I'm queuing up the chart. I am Dirk Smooth. Got it right. Exactly. Okay, so what's involved in a tornado? What do you think? Name all the things that are involved in it with a tornado. And I am Dirk Smooth. You're our guy right now. Name like all the ways that you would describe a tornado. Crypto Watch, don't sneak in there now. Just go ahead and list them out. All the different things that you think. Yes. Okay. Keep going. Yep. Right. Keep going. Just a minute. Just what is involved in the tornado? What's in there? Okay, so Crypto Watchdog just lists some of the things that a twister has made part of it. Right? Right. Yep, that's right. So maybe he'll throw some things in there that a twister does while I bring up the chart. Okay, let me clean up my tabs. Anyway, so it's absolutely fascinating because for a very long time we have actually been looking at price. So basically, the way that the layman sees price is in a vertical method. Like a depth of market is vertical. Bid, asks, going back and forth with a baseline, right? And that's all we see. And that graphical interface has kind of screwed our minds up a little bit, because really what's happening inside of the candles, at least some of us believe, is that it's actually a tornadic event that's happening inside of the candles. And there are some platforms out there that do give you a heat map style of delivery of the depth of market. But there's only a few models that I've ever seen in which you are able to see the tornadic event of depth of market. Now, for any of you that don't know, there are levels in a DOM. And when you sit on an exchange, let's say in the legacy market, you pay to see those different levels. You pay to see who's waiting, who's in wait, who has a wall, etc. You're able to see what is yet out there. Now, Storm Chaser does the same thing. They're looking for other things in the environment that can affect the tornado, can affect, right, CryptoWatch is going to give us a little lesson here. Many different things. Where is it in altitude? Where is it according to the what's it called? What's the hills and valleys called? All of that sort of thing. And the hills and it's called, oh, you guys, what is it called? What are hills and valleys called? The topography, right? You have topography, you have wind shear, you have the walls, etc., right? So much is going on. So there's this theory that really what price is doing is that it's creating a tornadic event, and price is pinging inside. If you can imagine that the walls of price, imagine that there's walls of price and they're pinging inside of each other, almost like if you were to see like a Mobius flip or a DNA molecule. It's sort of doing that until it comes to its terminus or close. Now, of course, this is all done in the microminute, right? And then all we get to do is see the end of that microminute inside of the bar. Now, if you don't know this, there are exchanges, there are trading platforms that you can sit on where you are seeing a 2-second bar. a 5-second bar, not a 60-second bar. You can actually start to go in and see how price is pinging and going back and forth. And it's a theory. Like I said, I've seen models of this sort of thing. They're fascinating. There's lots of modelers out there that do this sort of thing. There's also branch modelers that take a single price and then they'll branch it out and create these graphs of why price did that and how it did that. And those are things that are really fascinating. So, well, it's on Sierra Charts. I haven't been over to Binance to see, but probably Binance is probably, because that's one of the more recent releases of an exchange. So they probably are trying to attract, the trader that wants something, more energetic. I have to put myself on mute for just a moment. So you guys couldn't hear me, is that right? You didn't hear me? That's odd. Okay, all right. I am Dirk Smith, thank you. Because when I went to sneeze, I didn't undo my mic. Okay, so here we are with the Litecoin. Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's what it was. I turned my mic off to sneeze, that the sneeze never happened. Then I told you guys the whole story about that I don't want to sneeze when I'm broadcasting. And then I told you the whole story about how we have been hunting this darn trade. And then I told then I told you the story to cover your eyes because I was about to show you the bright white light and the sneeze still didn't come. And if it hadn't have been for you, I would have gone for another half an hour with the mic off. So thank you. That's called professionalism on YouTube. And you heard none of it. I'm sorry about that. Sorry. That's man, that was some of my best stuff, you know. But that's behind the paywall. You know, you have to catch beauty just at the right time when, you know, the sneeze means that, you know, it's paywall time. Okay. So you can basically see that there's a lower line, the support line that goes through the pivots, and then you can see the very gradual, you know, line. Now I'll go ahead and I'll draw it in just a moment, but I want to make sure that you guys can kind of sort of see it on your own. And so, you know, we're looking for a resolution. And what happened was that we built the line, but the trade continued to go on in the sideways grind. And of course, we didn't come back and build the line out. So that's what I'll do tonight, if you guys don't mind. And also, the charts that are coming up, there will be over at the Discord. What I will do is I will make sure that we make copies and put them over at the Discord, okay? All right, so let's do some chart work here. Everybody knows, everybody's favorite trade of all time is Litecoin. We'll go ahead and we'll zippity-doo-dah that out. And I'm using a tool that I'm not really crazy about, but it's the easiest one to use. And I did it in a bright red, and we'll carry it out all the way. And that's your support line from two pivots, 277.60 to 278. So it's just 60 cents off. So we'll accept that as being a horizontal. And then we're going to grab we'll grab this one here, which I can't get a pin on. And we're going to draw it through here. And we'll also try and even it up through there. Okay, so clearly this is a descending pattern. But you can see it's a sideways range. Last night we were seeing certainly more that this was more focused down. Now, some chartists, especially sloppy ones, they might have picked it up, you know, they're trying to look for something that's more dramatic, like this. They take the 293 and they would slice it, letting all of this go. And that's perfectly fine. It only makes this, though, happen. Okay? When you do this, the structure, which is an overused term, the structure really came in here. So the heel of the move is not up here. The heel of the move isn't even from here to here. The heel of the move is when both lines come together. And let me see if I can draw another trend line which goes this way so you guys can see. So the heel of the move is trajectory bull. Comes back down to test bear, goes back up to test bull, comes down to retest and relax, doing what? Abso-friggin-lutely nothing at the 243. At the 243. So this is like crushing. It is so labor intensive. It's like, what am I doing with my life? It's nuts. However, the resolution of a descending wedge usually is the measurement of the heel, and what we'll do is we'll clone this. We don't have a price target on it or anything, but we'll clone this and we'll bring it over here. And our price target, although it will not go to the all-time high, is $299.20 right there. That's what the price target would be. And there's different people do this math differently. Some people will say no, it needs to break out and above the wedge, come back in, and then retest to blow out. If indeed this is correct, if this theory is correct, the heel is bull, the retest bear, the retag bull, the retest and rest on the 243, which is happening now. And then if we can get some activity, the resulting trade is the measurement of the heel up. Of course, all this has to be managed properly. You guys get that right. And we can study more of this. There's I mean, most of what I know is same sort of, simple reading, being just experience, and there's no guru involved in this. This is all stuff that we can look for on the internet. And if we don't approve or it's wrong, before the trade teaches us that it's wrong, it's always a good idea to challenge, what experts out there have to say about that idea. And let me zoom in, and what I'll do, it's not going to work. It's not going to work tonight. Now, let me see. Let me go to the 15 minute. It's going to be the best thing. Go to the 15 minute, and we'll just see it there. And what I'll do is I'll make a copy of it, and I'll show you what the alternative thesis might be when we're coming into the blue. I don't know if you guys see that? I suppose you do. All right, so all bells and whistles are hitting off right now. Where is my Discord? See, I called about Discord, so and so this is the chart. Bitcoin, there we go. And click on that. And the other one is the Bitcoin. All right, so is everybody happy? And you know sort of what's going on? Not too freaked out that you actually saw it happen live on YouTube with Beauty Bubble? And that's why the hashtag is, what is it, guys? Make money with beauty. Make money with beauty. Okay. All right. And then this is the next chart over the Discord. There we go. Okay. Good. Right? I think that we're all cool. And it looks like the Nightbot has gone through everything too. And we've been streaming for an hour. And we can either follow this trade, or I can walk through some of the things that we learned about the Discord and how that sort of works and what you might want to do. Well, okay, yeah. I'm all of that. It's all true. Everything that you've heard. I just have the gift of time. So, but we don't know. We're just coming into this region right now. We do know, though, the condition, of course, went short, even though, so you guys understand, the trade, the overall condition is still bullish with Ruby. We're just having a current pullback. And it's just a matter of how deep this could go. But I thought that it was interesting that the narrative was so full, the narrative was so full-blown bull, when clearly the counter trade has been producing some great values, but it'll go back up. Some great, pickups for counter trend trading. So we'll just see what happens. All right, the chart is live. We'll just go ahead and keep it live. I did pull it out to the 15-minute, only because that blue seemed a little bright, but I'll put it into the 3 minutes. You guys can actually see it happen yourselves. There we go. This is probably pretty exciting. It's like, wow, beauty, what kind of what in the world is that? Like, why did you show that 3-minute chart? Well, because sometimes you got to look at the 3 minute. Sometimes you got to look at the 1 minute to see what's going on. I'm not even going to do a percentage on this or anything like that. Okay, so let's talk about Discord. I don't know how you guys found out about Discord or who you knew that was over at Discord, that kind of brought you over there. But it's pretty fun. And there's a lot of really neat things that you can do over at a Discord. And I had Chart Chat Connect over there, I want to say even as long ago as like last year plus a few months. And it was just kind of like, okay, well, this is fun. But for storing, my anything, I just kind of felt like, okay, but I'm already on Slack. And I kind of like the way that Slack, feels for me. And I like the way that the rooms can be structured and such. And so, I pretty much gave a lot of effort, not in building up the Slack, but just depositing a lot of information over there in hopes that we could write a book. And, and then more people were coming over to the Discord. And then I started to visit more sites. And I was like, well, okay, I'll resurrect. No harm, no foul. Just do that. And I was fortunate enough when I was live on YouTube to run across someone that was doing 24/7 live feeds. And he was kind enough to take he was doing these incredible 24/7 live feeds on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and altcoins. It was just a fantastic feed. He had music. He had a guy that he bought some music licensing from, and it was just a hell of fun. And we started just kind of chatting. And I said, "Well, is one of your frames available? Would you like for me to give you the link, to when I go live, and then I could be live because most gamers, they're live. I don't know how many people go back and rewatch games of gamers, but they're live." And I was like, "Well, dang, I can go live." And so he started to stream me live, and then we created a playlist that got looped, and it was so fun. And sure enough, most of his reach is using the Discord. And so I always knew in the back of my mind, wow, maybe we should go back. So we did. And I did a couple of YouTubes where the link was shared out with another forum. And we had like 12 people that were in the live. I think we had up to maybe 21 people that were in the live, and then a lot of people that went back to the other forum. Some of them squatted down below. So it ended up where we had like 12 people that were online and 11 people that were offline. And I was just, pushing out the invite link and, just doing the regular things that people are supposed to do when they're opening up a new room, and working on how the room would be structured, the channel trees, and knowing that there would have to be permissions, but not sure really exactly how the Discord kind of what their motivation was with the permission structure. Because not being in the API, you have to give permissions based on their lockdown menu. And I saw another guy that was doing some things, and I was asking about, well, how do you write things out, and what are the little tips and tricks? So that's really where we were. We had just written out our rules. And I went live, and I gave out the invite link, and 3, 4, 5 pirate trolls came in. And anyway, you heard the story earlier on, and then everything was gone. I was locked out. The members were sitting there not knowing what was going on. So of course they left. They changed the name of Chart Chat Connect to a filth hole of a name. Then they sent me warnings about, we told you, and we're going to do even worse things to you, and basically threatened me. And I immediately just contacted Discord. That's all that I could think to do. And they immediately contacted me and told me, well, this is what you need. And for anyone that knows that, you can just ignore and rebuild and move on. But for me, it's like, listen, I'd like to be there for a lot longer than that. I don't want to have to close up, build back up again, because we're building a library of information. And for some people, it's important information. So I sent them everything that I had. And we haven't heard back yet. It's the weekend and everything. But I went back over to Discord and then opened up another channel. And a couple of people were able to reach out to me. But basically, outside of, I think we have been able to, just to show you what can happen when you decide, well, I'm just going to ignore it and open up another channel. What happened, of course, is that you lose reputation because you don't, we were just a young channel. I didn't have everything set up. And there wasn't really, I was thinking, well, why would you do all of that for we don't even know if we're going to be around. So, and then the one fellow that was my mod is on holiday, and it was like, well, we'll just wait. It was kind of like that, just very passé and not a big deal. Let me go over to the Discord right now. And by the way, we're bouncing off of that little balloon thing that I built. And so looks like maybe we'll flake out. This should flake out here. It's 11:49. It might flake out and then it would roll back over. Now, this is what you have to do. And I definitely encourage this. If this was ever to happen to you for any reason, because you were in the same situation, you're building a new channel, there's a few people that you have, it's under 50 people, you're trying to build up your rules, you're trying to figure out what you want it to look like and everything else. The number one thing that you need to do is definitely contact the Discord support. And I'm going to give you how you do that. First of all, you write them on Discord publicly because they have a public outreach and then they have a DM. And you write them right away and you explain the SOS, what's happened in very simple terms. And what they do is that they write you back. They say, you'll want to send us as much info as you can over to abuse@discordapp.com so that our trust and safety team can take action. Okay, just listen to this. Our trust and safety team. So there's an expectation over at Discord of a certain quality of individual. You don't walk into someone's Discord and go there and want to be untrustworthy and present an unsafe environment for anybody under any circumstances. They have an entire department that's dedicated to trust and safety. Now, I haven't gone through the terms of service. I have read the terms of service once, and of course I was like, check. Like, we're cool. But I wasn't looking at it, check, that a-hole, that he won't be cool, but he's here and I know. And this person shouldn't be doing that. I don't need to police the terms of service for the thousands and tens of thousands that are people on Discord. I just needed to make sure that what we were building, fit terms of service. And so that's where it is. I've sent them screenshots. They have everyone's name, and so we're just waiting. But the process that they did was by taking over the channel because there were no permissions set. Now, this is also about decency, right? There's no permissions set. We're trying to be decent people. And one of the trolls came in private and said, I'm just trying to warn you, that you could be compromised. And I'm like, well, are you going to compromise me? Because no one so far that I've met wants to do that. Well, you could have everything stolen. Well, do you plan on stealing from me? Because no one else here besides you wants to do that. And it kind of went back and forth like that. And then, of course, they came over to the live chat here on YouTube to try to do the secondary, the dispensing of their certain kind of um, you know, I don't even know what it is. It's cyber creep, okay? And you know, so that's where it is. We've rebuilt as much as we can, and when I am Dirk's Move goes over there, you'll kind of see what we've done. It's not as nice as CoinScoop or some of the other channels, but you can rebuild. And there are really cool things that you can do very quickly. If you do them too quickly, which I don't think is a great idea, it's much better to learn about why you're setting that permission, what does it do. So the way that it stands right now is that no matter how much I like you or no matter how long we've known each other, anything like that, I'm the primary administrator. Nothing nothing happens unless I do it, except for that there are vetted people and they're able to you can post charts and you can post links. And I think I even changed the permissions for being able to send out invites. So the way that it stands now is that everyone can do something in the channel, but that's all that it is. You're doers. You're not responsible to policing, moderating, or even growth hacking the channel at all. Nothing. So the whole kind of thing, well, can I send an invite to a friend? You know, just let me know who the friend is, and I'll go ahead and make that happen. And I did also learn about the invite, the way that the invite structure is. It's not just the 22, 23-hour invite. You can actually send an invite to someone that expires in 15 minutes, which means that they get that invite, they get an opportunity to stay in, to take advantage of the invite for 15 minutes. And then there's also a setting where they accept the invite, they come in. Until and unless I go in and assign them a room, they'll be booted out, or what's called kicked, in 30 minutes. So the whole relationship is basically, it either starts in 45 minutes, let's say, you know, it's a flourishing relationship, or it's a languishing relationship. It's just not, it's not a good fit. It's not, you know, so you kind of get like visiting powers, and then the system boots you out ceremoniously, without me even saying anything and without you being able to say anything, except for that, you know, she booted, I mean, I was there and then she booted me. So I just learned about that yesterday. So there's all sorts of different techniques with the invite. I found that pretty fascinating. And then, of course, this permission structure, which is sort of kind of wonky. In some ways, they glob together certain permissions that shouldn't be kind of globbed together. So we have, you know, we probably have another, I mean, here it is on the 6th. And I was really hoping by the 11th, you know, that the channel would be, the server would be like, oh, okay, we're going to like this. Because we're only open January, February, March until April 1st. And then we'll do a clean sweep of the channel, or the server, and then we'll reconvene a couple weeks after that and build it up like that. So that's why there's a little bit of a heartbreak to lose the first bit of work that you had created, because it's like losing a week, a complete week, of course, crypto week, which is like losing 6 months of your work. But there is a way, and if you were ever to, especially for the replay viewers, if you're ever in a situation where it's happened to you, just reach out to me. Reach out to me on Twitter, at Beauty Bubble on Twitter, and my DMs are open. And I'm happy to share, boom, 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 this is what happened, this is who you should contact, and these are the things that you're going to need to build up your case. And building up that case is very important, because these pirate trolls came in and basically threatened me in saying that I was someone that was that I doxed people, that I dox people. And there's no evidence that I dox people. And they were claiming that they had doxed me and that I had better watch out because, you know, that there were people that were coming after me, and et cetera, et cetera. And so it can be very kind of physically violent in your, you know, just like, it's just disturbing to your peace of mind. And sure, your family says, you know, whatever, you know, whatever, you know. But, you know, when someone writes these things out or someone then takes your property, you have to kind of add things up. But I'm not going anywhere. It's been tried before on all of my social channels. It's been tried. I'm not going anywhere. And if there is another physical threat by these individuals, then certainly I'll take some action with local law enforcement. That's what's recommended by Twitter. I'm sure that is what will be recommended by Discord, that if you do feel physically threatened, it's different than reading it. It's another thing by reading it and then you're like, shit, you know, I think that guy just like threatened my life. And number one, I'm pretty sure that that's what they just did. And I think maybe I should call law enforcement. You know, I think maybe I should just do that. So, as far as this whole doxing and swatting, let me tell you, and some people do know this, I'm a convicted felon for marijuana cultivation with intention to distribute in the 70s. And I'm a convicted felon. I served 5 years of probation. I got lucky that I was not sent to federal prison because in those days they weighed the marijuana with the pot, the physical terracotta pot, and the soil. That's how they got me on the gram weight. See, you guys are lucky. You little shits now are very lucky. They don't give a shit about you. But in the 70s, they really did care a lot. They did not want you growing marijuana. They did not want you, you know, they didn't want you to do it. And I got caught and I pled guilty and to save my family, basically, my newly married family. If the chance, this is what's interesting about this swatting thing that you guys are talking about. I will say this, if that was to happen to me, the people responsible will be immediately deposed. Immediately deposed. Because that threat in itself puts me in what's called the second strike. Okay? And if you guys know anything about third strike rule, third strike, you are in prison for life. So if you think that there's some sort of joking matter about suggesting for a moment that I am going to be swatted, you are out of your effing mind. You are out of your effing mind, truly. Because I would have no reason whatsoever to fight that off, to say one word. There will be nothing said or done, and they are going to depose your ass. That's how that is all going to work out. There's not going to be, you know, any violence. There's not going to be any destruction that can't be repaired to my home or homes or cars, etc. That's not happening, but you will get your ass deposed. And there will be a statewide and a nationwide search for whoever is responsible for that, because you have put my life and liberty at risk and at stake. And the FBI and the CIA, who follow me everywhere, would love to know who your little jackass is. Because I won't be the first person that it's happened to. We all know about Jameson Lopp, who it happened to. So there's a few of us. People have now been kidnapped. People have been their families have been threatened. Their personal property, their intellectual property has been taken from them. And you know what? The gig is up. There's enough money now, okay? There's enough money to go around now to chase down your sorry ass. And it will happen. And if you are under 18, your sorry ass of a family is going to be chased down. And that's what will happen. So I'm not inviting it, but what I'm saying is that if you are threatening me, and I do feel threatened, physically threatened by you, I will be calling, it won't be you calling law enforcement, I will be calling law enforcement. So the best thing is to go back into your textbooks and get a great math degree, get a great engineering degree, and try to get your ass into Stanford, Berkeley, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and do something good with your life. Because taking me down is a bullshit move. That's a bullshitter. And you will live with that for the rest of your life. No doubt. And then I'm going to give you another person who will be deposed along with you, is the individual responsible for this little piece of work, who recorded me without my permission, who is a notorious troll. Notorious makes your little weird thing look like peanut gallery shit. And there we go. There's the famous Diamond Dick soundtrack by Adam Gutierrez in a private conversation that the two of us were having. Okay, and you can look his name up, wanted by Facebook, something under $900 million. He has a flight, he is a continuous modus operandi for the CIA and the FBI to put his ass behind bars. And that is my troll. So you ain't nothing. It's like, you're nothing. You're nothing. They're going to interview me, and then they're going to go after Adam, and then they're going to pick your ass up. That's what's going to happen, because that's who you're talking to. That's who you're trying to threaten. This isn't just a lady on the internet. Okay? I've been at this for a long time. Get your nose back in your math books and your science books. Get yourself a great degree if you like the law, because you think that you're these warriors, for peace and goodness. Get yourself a good law degree. Maybe I'll hire you when you graduate. So don't, believe you me, I've been through a lot more than a Discord being shut down. And it reminds me, okay, this CoinScoop is live now. Take a listen. Here we go. We'll build up a few more points for Adam. So just, you should do good, right? I know you made a lot of fun of it yesterday, but the deal is to make money to do good. The deal is not to come on the internet and make, veiled threats. Make veiled threats to people on the internet, thinking that you're really, yes, you stole from me, but you didn't steal me. You didn't take me down. Okay? I know, me too. I know, I just got it on Doohickey. Okay, so clearly we are getting a rejection to push the price lower. It's at 12:06. We're probably going to wrap up the event right now, unless I decide to let it run, put it on mute, and go over to the CoinScoop and give them some love and shout outs and so forth. So I might do that. This is for replay, CryptoSig. I don't care who's live right now. It's for the replay. Okay, CoinScoop it is, guys. We're headed to CoinScoop. Okay, but I think maybe we need to kind of watch this move as it crawls up. So let me go ahead and put it on the 1 minute, and we'll watch it kind of go and blow here. And I'll put the disclaimer up, and we'll just kind of let it run. And maybe after the CoinScoop is done, we'll have a little bit of energy to talk again. And then I need to get the Discord invite over to, I'm going to do that as soon as, yeah, I'll see you over there. Thank you for visiting. Okay, the way that this is going to roll, guys, is that I'm going to put myself on mute, and we are moving over to another channel and take a listen to what's going on with the altcoins of the day. Basically, what we showed you today was the BTC USD Coinbase pair, also the LTC USD Coinbase pair, as it's kind of coming out of this very weird sideways channel. We also discussed a little bit about knowing how to handle oneself when you're building out a Discord server, and maybe some things that I can kind of walk you through, things that I learned about putting together something that at least protects you right away. Like, first defense is do this. You cannot, even though they have a trust and safety department, there is no trust and safety until you create it on your own. And the other side of that is that if that isn't your deal, my deal is to come there open source. If you want to steal from me, that makes you a thief. Okay? And the other side is that if you over police, then you're called, you're called a power tripper. So it's a very delicate situation that one has over at any open server. But down below, when the event is over anyway, there'll be a full depth of all the different places that I kind of dwell on the internet. And you can always follow me on Twitter. My DMs are open, as I said. So while we put ourselves on mute and go and visit some other folks on YouTube, hashtag Make Money with Beauty, and hashtag if you want a relationship with me, put it on the blockchain. Bye-bye now. Okay, cowboys. All right, thanks a lot to the Coin Scoop guys. Thank you so much. They're so fun. If you haven't checked out their channel art that they did tonight, it's very cool. In the day, I had a pretty good avatar. I should probably maybe bring it back and do a blow up of it, but it's a great avatar. And I thought, you know what, that really probably is more of inclusive of my personality, et cetera, et cetera. So this art that they did tonight was just so, so good. Check them out. Make sure that equally so that you like and subscribe and put them on the notifier. As they were explaining right when they came on, that their schedule over the next few weeks, I suppose, is supposed to be a little off. But generally, it is, after dark, and they study a lot of the in-depth, the underbellies and underworkings of the altcoins without getting too beyond, So we learn just a lot, and it's a great chat. Wonderful, fast-moving, good sense of humor. Um, you know, Clearly they've got their minds on right about how to bring their information to YouTube, but they also, as I understand it, they distribute onto iTunes, I think, if I'm not mistaken, which is something that, of course, I don't do. It's always been thought of, why doesn't she have a podcast and that kind of thing? And I'll tell you what, the reason is that my content is dictated by the charts. And when it's like that, if you do too much preparation, by the time you've done the podcast, the move has already happened. And by the time you edit, and so of course it's much better for me, it's less stress too, for me to just kind of come live as I am. Anyone that has spent time with me understands that I accept you for where you're at. And the only way that I can have that kind of in my heart is that I ask that you accept me for where I'm at. And that means that there's really no schedule. There's no telling what, may have happened in my day. And not that it changes the charts too much, but it can skew some things. It certainly can in your life. And speaking of life skewering, we had brought to the table earlier this pullback, this little bit of bear activity that we were seeing in the charts, and sure enough, that peak high, we're just slamming right into it. And if you don't mark your charts, you might have missed it. But if we get a little snag up here, that would be why. Or if the price becomes exhausted by, the bears have just had enough, because it's been a little bit of a ledgy fight here for the bears. The bears have not actually been able to latch on. Of course, this is in the 30-minute bar. But it's a full retrace from this peak high that we had, and I'll open up the chart so you can see where it is located. But that's kind of what's happening there. I'll bring the chart out so you might get a better view of where that orb is. And if you're paying attention earlier, although you can watch the replay if you're coming in now, but this is an orb that was built on a larger time frame to fill in this ascending wedge that we have going on. And so price has come inside of that orb right here. And the peak high, which is what we're dealing with here, if you notice, I don't know, we'll do the 4-hour without getting too crazy and determine where the peak high is. Peak high is right here. So that is an apex high. So watch how I'm using my cursor. There's the high, okay? There's the left shoulder, which brought the price down to 10,400, okay? We had a little bit of a right shoulder apex, then the apex right shoulder, return, and then what price is supposed to do is that if it goes over the apex, you're supposed to get an explosive move. You can see we only got one bar. It tried to come back again and retest, but what it was what it was relying on, what's called an apex high, which is right there. I might want to rename that. I say peak high. I really should say apex. So let me go in there and change that so I don't confuse anybody coming forward. But that's what that is. And it's an apex high. And whether you look at it at support or resistance, we're getting it as support right now. Here it was resistance. On the other side, in the small retrace, we're getting it on support. Okie dokie. So everybody can see, I drew this kind of big arrow so that you understood that price, if it fills in this area here, about to 75%, you should see either a bust out or it will follow through in the entire move. Once it comes out of this lower band, the entire move will start to register on what I call a free market equilibrium line. And then we have abyss. All the things that the bears have been waiting for a great Sunday afternoon's worth of fun. Okay, let's see what we've got. What else? What else? We are going to be covering a chart that is over at the Discord, and I'm very proud. We opened up a new, I don't know, I think it's a new fun area of Discord for us. So we have different roles that everyone has, and so of course there's like a founder admin role. There's a chart guild that those are for people that enjoy putting the charts in the timeline and have just, it doesn't have to be this deep thesis or anything like that, but we are asking that you give us a spectrum. And a spectrum is where we're looking at a 4-hour, we're looking at a 30-minute, and a 15-minute. Now, we could have done 4 hours, 60, 15, but we all know that 2 candles equals an hour. So we'll see what works. And Great Toot did a wonderful job. So I decided, well, okay. So people have permissions, but how can I make sure that the reason that we're here is to chart. That's why we're here, really. And we have to make sure that people are encouraged to do it. And it does not matter. He even said, because he was putting up the ruby. And I said, forget about the ruby now. Just forget about ruby for a moment. Put your just Raw's chart in the timeline and put a 243 EMA on there. And that's what he did. So we're all talking about instead of the 250 or the 200, we're talking about an EMA that is kind of precious to Ruby. And if that's just instead of us going back and forth between the EMAs. And sure enough, he did that, and he had some incredible finds about peak highs, about all-time highs, about a pennant that he located. And so because it's a full schema or spectrum, we get to see like a flipboard effect of what the chart is doing. Now, in some of the rooms, when you don't have, this is a watch list play, by the way, it's AVT, if you wanted to follow the chart yourself. And I think that this is like a really lovely way. So when people are doing the watch list, probably what we'll try to do is just let them breathe, let them get their full spectrum in, and then we can come back in and disturb the chat. In other rooms, you'll have a chart, and then you'll have 9 lines of text, and then you'll have, someone that's talking about a concert, and then you'll have one chart, and your work isn't really able to be threaded like what Jack Dorsey over at Twitter is doing with the tweets. We're able to tether or thread our tweets together, so it's a full thread of content. So I don't think we can do this over here. Maybe we can at Discord. We should put that on the whiteboard to see if that's something that we can do, because it would be important to us as chartists to be able to get that full spectrum. So we just need to give people the room. If they're going to be doing full spectrum, it's basically all hands off deck and let them get those 3 charts in their narrative. Let's see. So yes, we have a chart guild now. That's what I called it. All these things can obviously change. And we want to welcome our new invites. And what's really clever about uh, especially being able to go on YouTube and meet people, is that we do all, I mean, not to share everything, you know what I mean? As far as like, we don't have to like each other all the time. But sometimes, you pass on a broadcast and it starts to feel like a little media company. Pass it on like that. So Dirk's Move came over. So we have this category or role called new invitees. And I will put it on everyone to please welcome any of the new invitees. That's why I push them up underneath the Chart Guild, and because they are just as important. New people that are coming in to see that they feel welcomed and that they find uh, the server useful and that they want to stay and chart and chat and connect. Okay, so I think you guys kind of get the kindergarten view of what the server is all about. So welcome to Dirk's Move, and he is a great coin scooper. That is how he found out about the Beauty Bubble on YouTube, and so that's how those kind of, relationships kind of build. That's very cool. So the YouTube to the Coin Scoop, which looks like it is about to go into archive. Definitely, we will go ahead and put this in the timeline for you guys to check out the replay. Covered, I don't know how many names they covered, or if they put them in the description once it's in the can, but very, very cool stuff. And I will bold out, which is a double asterisk, and we'll bold out the Coin Scoop double asterisk, and there is the channel right there. And you can see the avatar, the work, the the what's it called, the thumbnail. Yeah, they know what they're doing with their thumbnails. I always struggle with kind of that. There's a lot of things I struggle with being online, but that's one of them. Okay, so we're just going to move in a little bit so you guys can see it better. And then I'll do a little bit of pre-work on this Tron because obviously there's some interest in it. Okay, so we can see that we're coming down into, if I'm not mistaken, that's the 41. So the 12 has eclipsed the 8. Okay, that is a very bearish tune. And yet the apex high is now meeting up with the 41. So we'll get a little bit of tension here, as I mentioned, and then if it decides that there's more bear left, then of course it'll start to flush down and it'll take on every ledge beyond that. We'll check the Litecoin, doing some kind of funky things with the background and playing around because I think the bright white is maybe a little bit too much for our eyes. And I have to figure out, what exactly I should do. Maybe we don't do grid lines, or maybe we don't do horizontal lines, and that sort of thing. And that needs to be one step darker. And we'll just kind of keep playing around it. Sometimes I'm able to kind of find that perfect balance. But obviously, the reason that this chart, the difficulty is going to be in simplifying something that is rather complex. It's 40 years worth of work. For me, I'm coming into 4 years, almost 5 years of, the idea of could it actually happen? Could we put on plot? CR Charts is doing it with their depth of market because the depth of market is on plot. So we know that RSI can be put on plot. But there's a lot of convincing that has to happen before you take a man's work, such as Andrew Cardwell, and decide that you're going to take it down from the base, from the momentum part of the chart and bring it on plot. So this will probably be years worth of work. I don't think it's something that we're going to be doing overnight at all. I still have to go through my coursework. I still watch and learn everything that I can about the theory. And so this is a very slow build, as it should be. But we're looking at the 15-minute Coinbase with this new colorization, and we are looking for a breakout as we talked about before, and we'll get into the 3-minute so we can see it maybe a little better. I'm not too sure. You can see that's where we wanted it to break out. It's still not doing that. It is literally crawling along the 243 EMA. And of course, that's in the 3-minute bar. So it's threading and crawling and bobbing and everything else in the 3-minute, about to drive us crazy. You can see the upper trend line here. So we're looking for, I could grab that and then just bring it down here to keep an eye on it. And then come on over here. And we just carry this across and parallel as much as we can to about right there. So there's no let up. No let up whatsoever. We're $4, $3.54 away from where we have been and about to drive me crazy. Super crazy. So I don't know. I think we'll just keep it on here because we know that we're looking for our target is 16,352. If you can remember that. 16,352 is our next target on the BTC USD Coinbase. And then on the Litecoin, of course, we're looking at, I think it was 306, was it? Let's see, what was our target up there? The target was, I'm sorry, the target as at 300, let's say. We'll do it. But it wasn't really trying to perfect that line exactly. Okay, so we kind of know where we're at, I think. And let me go back to, yeah, we've been streaming for 3 hours, so I don't know. What do you guys want to do? I'm going to be doing Tron tomorrow, but I do have to do some homework to see whether or not I can even get more than the chart that's available. And then we can just do some basic work on it. If you guys have seen a Tron chart in the wild, let me know where it is, and then we can do some work on it from there. Okay, what do we have? What do I have to tell you exactly? Oh, and then Vivo also has come back in after losing the channel. I get a chance now to assign these roles, and so the new invitees will stay. And what I want to get from them is their experience. I know that they can post, and although I don't think that you can post links, but if you can just tell me what your experience is, especially can you only see. Like if you go offline and you come back, do you only see what's right in front of you, that you don't see everything above? And I think that that's maybe how it is. I think that that's how I set it up, which is kind of putting you in a very ephemeral state of mind. So you're not able to jump in, scroll up, see what we have, blah, 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 not contribute, and then leave the channel, and then come in and come out with that. So that is not happening. Just letting you know. Let's check on Twitter. Let's go ahead and give we'll do the TweetDeck channels. How about that? Let's do tweet. Let me go over to TweetDeck on the big board. TweetDeck on the big board. See what we get. All right. The way that I do my TweetDeck is where the fourth slot right here is dedicated to kind of front page news. I haven't been in since earlier this week, and so the BitConnect is holding that pole position. And the fourth column is dedicated to that. So the one way that I figure this out is that I have the Bitcoin and the crypto. I have the BitMEX Rect over here, and the cryptocurrency as a hashtag. And that's it. Easy peasy kind of stuff. Ooh, very interesting. I have to tell you that I think I'm going to start putting more keywords that are in other languages. I just saw that one guy was doing Russian. I know that there's other people that are doing the Korean languages, and I might just start playing around with in this SEO, trying to reach an international audience through the SEO. I think it's very important for us to try and do that. But I've been seeing it a lot more recently. That people are they're kind of they're trying to play reach, and as they should, and it is like that. It is just not asynchronous. We require certain knowledge and about how to do social media, and we look for people that are really good at it. And if you get lucky, you get close to people that are willing to help you kind of sort some of that out and have a different approach, or at least have a plan, some sort of a flow as to what your best next move is. And because it is an art form, or it's actually a social science, you don't know. There's no guarantee that if you use a certain hashtag, that is somehow going to make you superior in the space. But I'm willing to try different things because it's fascinating. What you can do and the reach that you can have with these platforms. It's very, very cool. So that's our TweetDeck. And let me see what we've got. We now have something called the Peppy Cash Price Bot. I did not know that. The Peppy Cash Price Bot. I wonder how long that has been around. Very interesting. Somebody follow up with that for me. The Peppy Cash Price Bot. Let me go back over to the Discord and ask if anybody want to take on the Peppy Cash. Okay. I'm sure there's going to be a rush at the door for that. And okay, let's see what else we have. Bring this down. It's still not too late to grab Ripple. Big Pump Signal. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Big Pump Signal Group, over 100,000 members. A Discord channel. What in the world? What in the world is that? Wow. Big Pump Signal Bitcoin Group. Well, I'm speechless. They have 100,000 members. Gee whiz. Almighty. Okay. That is a massive number of individuals. Way, 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 way. Major way in that. Okay, let's scroll down. Of course, now we've got the Glam Girls. I love it too. The Glam Girls, they've got their short and long positions. They're 100 times leverage. You get a discount. They've got their registration number. They have all of the tickers that they want, and they have a gorgeous chart. And look at that. Something else. Rachel Underwood. And I actually have to see who she's all about there. So there's the BitMEX. So they get you on all deals. Long short Bitcoin swings with up to 100% leverage at BitMEX with the double bags of cash. Get a 10% free discount here with the check mark. Oh my gosh, look at all of that. Gee whiz. I'm going to make a copy of that. That is crazy. That is crazy. With the chart too. Look at that. Look at that tweet. Have you ever seen a tweet like that? How deep that tweet is. Wow. Crazy good. Oh, here's the same thing. Other people too with the registration. Maria Dowd. Now, who else is going to be doing that? I take it that they're going to do it. Quite a few of them. There's Tron. Oh, I know. Let's do Tron, guys. What was I thinking? Of course. Let's do Tron. Tron. Trix, Hodler, Tron. Okay, but is the okay, that's why I have to look it up because I know nothing. Nothing. I see that what they did though was they drew up okay, that is see who's doing a chart. Daily Tron News. How did I miss this big breaking news? Can you please check if this is true? TRX to be listed on the South Korean exchange Conrail soon. This is a great step towards Bitex and Coinbase translation TRX. So is that what Tron is? Is TRX or is this a different one? Because they're going TRX and then they're going Tron side by side. Tron is coming. TRX, YYY, NASDAQ player, Gangplank Crypto Cowboys. Aha, a CCC. I got it. Okay, I don't have to say anything else. Let's see what we can do on Tron. Well, I'm excited. Okay, so we have, I have to make sure, of course I could have, I don't know if I could do this. Yeah, I'll have to do Tron first and then maybe do T. Sorry to sound a little, I just haven't looked into it at all, so Onyx, yeah. I don't want to mess up that actually TRX is something different than the Tron thing. Okay. Okay, so that's my tweet deck, and that's how it's set up. I'd love to see how you've got yours set up. It's always interesting to run the tweet deck. It gives you this incredible left to right view, and that's why I do Bitcoin on one side, crypto on another. Many times they're the same, but your eye will catch a story differently, left to right, left to right, left to right, like that. So that's why we set it up that way. Okay, let's go back. And not too much has changed there. And not too much has changed here, except for that we got the snag. The apex high is picking up the long there. And let's see what's going to happen. Let's see. Okay. I think because we're getting a snag there and we've been on for such a long time, what I'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and close things up so I can put this in the can. I'm going to let everyone know that we are back up and running over at the Discord. I will be following up with everybody about, how Discord seems to handle it. And then I'll do a tutorial about how I set up the channel, maybe encouraging others that have lost their channel but want to come back to Discord and that might not be as savvy or may not have a forward-thinking, way of looking at their channel and how they can make it look kind of fun and cool and all that. So we'll be doing more of that based on the name of the event tonight. And that's it, really. That's really it. Let me check and see if you guys have anything to say. Oh, good old bio. Yeah. Thank you. I am Dirk Smooth. Thank you. I could tell right away that it had to have been. So it's Tronix, right? So there's three names that it's known by: Tron, Tronix, and Trix. So if you can believe it, if you want to watch, I do believe that I have a Binance. And we'll just let me see if I do have any drawings at all. Yes, I do. Okay. So proof is in the pudding always. I wasn't too sure if I had anything on it because when they were saying Tron, 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 and there's so many new, so many new products that have come up. But what we can do is just really dig in deep. I'll go ahead and I'll put the chart in over at Discord. So we've got the super reminder, but we will be covering Tron at length. You guys are just going to have the best old time. Yes, of course. That's what I mean. And, I was talking to my family about this. The market has become so dense that kind of, the nouveau riche and all of this are going to be people that, like we used to be able to, they're going to know all the symbols. So one of the earliest things that I had to learn as a kid was learn all the symbols in the legacy market. Do you know the symbol of this? Do you know the symbol of that? So it's not like it's uncommon, but because they're really kind of, I don't know, some of the they can only go so far with the symbols because they run in circles, and until someone breaks out and comes up with a new way of pronunciation, then we'll go through all the X's, lots of X's. I'm surprised that we're not going back to the oxes, if you know what I mean. I am Dirk Smith. He's been such a nice person today. He's back in the live chat over at YouTube. I bought into the Trump altcoin. Why? Because the bad news comes out. I figured that people post everything bad when it comes to Trump, and they'll never find anything bad about the coin. Well, that's a very interesting attitude, very interesting approach. So you did a oppositional play, and that's interesting. So I'll have to take a look at that coin too. And let me get before I shut down, let me make sure that I've got this over the Telegram, a Discord, pardon me. I'm going to mess that up back and forth many times. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Okay, so tomorrow's focus. I don't even know how to spell tomorrow. I'm going to focus on this chart right here. Okay, here we go. It should be fun. I'll tell you when I'm going to be on there, okay? If everybody's good with that. Oh, here comes the bio. Man, why in the world? Why couldn't I have had some metal parts? I need some metal parts in my life. Okay, so that's it for everybody. Thank you very much. And Dirk, I'll get your permissions kind of set up. And if I'm not mistaken, the invite that you got there, it's really cool about the way that they build the invites. But the way that they build the invites, you really have to have done like a almost kind of like a true invitation that kind of describes what the parameters are of the invite. But if I'm not mistaken, we'll keep you as a new invitee because not everyone came in today, to make sure that you are properly welcomed and become a contributor and feel comfortable, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. All right, so here we are, and we are about to close things up. I put you there. I know, aren't I clever? I'm pretty clever. You know why? Because I think actually the new invitees are right up there. I mean, we need to, we need to make sure that, that the welcome mat comes out and that sort of, a good attitude about that. Instead of you just kind of like, I've been here for 9 months and nobody ever said hello. And then we'll just figure out, the permissions. More than likely, this is what will happen. You will be vetted. There are a couple roles. You will be vetted by the founder, and then you will be vetted by Chart Chat Connect. And in the moment that you start posting charts, you will be a member of the Chart Guild, and that's how I think we're gonna arrange the roles. Please don't forget that we're trying to, whether it works out, because I don't know when the week, more than likely tomorrow, we will start what we're calling the Good Calls Champion. Good Calls Champion. And it will be a week long, and we will see who is, the champion of the week, who's got the best call of the week, who came up with something that just worked out where nobody saw it, who came up with something that was just so beautifully charted it was ridiculous and silly. And we are calling it the Good Call Champions. And the only thing that we have right now is with the Good Call Champion is that we will keep your BTC address up at the top for a whole week. And we will praise you and love on you and embrace how good you are at this and all of that. So it's called Good Calls. I thought that was kind of fun to do. And we'll do another messaging down here. And I need to change the supercalifragilistic, but that's actually the 34 characters. And there we go. That's what it's called, Good Calls. So we'll probably get that going tomorrow or today at noon, and we'll run it from noon to noon, and then we'll all just get together and figure out, well, who was it. The forward thinking is this. I do believe in the Jamaican style, is that if the channel benefits in any way, however, most of these channels over time, what happens is that there are donations and there is recognition, and instead of it being for the channel, I think that it really should be for the people that are contributing to the channel. And this is just my way of thinking. So, Good Calls Champion, like I said, it could be a variety of different ways that you've just done a really great job at giving us some really good information, and then your name gets put on as the Good Calls Champion with your BTC address there at the top of the channel. If you'll notice, we are not opening up any other channels besides on The Voice. I want to make sure that people know that they can have their, that they can go into the Talk to the Founder or Talk to Members. And so there's 2 voice channels over there. That's it. We're not going to be welcoming any bots or any extraneous kind of activity. We're going to try and just kind of keep it inside of the framework, the early framework that Discord has, and not get too fancy pants too fast. I think that it's one thing that I've learned. We did just try a lot of different things because it was fun to try different things, and it was very cool to have the DJ bot, over Christmas and such. So that's what the Good Calls Champion is all about. And actually, I think if I can, let me see if I can edit this, because it's called the Good Calls Champion. Okay, there we go. So it's not really a contest. It really is to serve, to acknowledge and honor you guys. And then I think that if we just keep doing that and doing that and doing that, that all of that will work out. Whether it works out in your outside life, whether it works inside of the channel, we don't really know. But over the years, I have found that with this kind of motivation, that what happens is, which is really kind of cool. The CryptoSig, what happens is your outside life, you start to meet people, there's other opportunities that come your way, you learn things, then you meet people through the learning, you get invited to conferences, and then you meet those people, and that's kind of what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to be closing down the channel. I don't know if CryptoSig is going to be powering up his channel. He'll have to tell me, but that would mean that it went from me to the CoinScoop back to me. And if CryptoSig wants to go live with that crazy Litecoin play, the tornado itself, we need to name that chart probably. then he needs to let me know, because I'm happy to pass the baton and give it over to him. So well, I'll wait for a moment to let's see if he wants to do that. I just want to take over the mic on your channel, your YouTube channel. Yes, right. As soon as he's just a baby YouTuber, he only has one. It's only been, the channel only has one video, and he may not have even saved it. So let's see what he wants to do. I think it's a good idea, even if he's, if he has a half an hour, then it would be a cool thing to do. And then we can give him the Chart Guild. You want to earn Chart Guild, Crypto Sig, you need to earn Chart Guild. He's going to say, what is Chart Guild? Oh, okay. So he said, "What's up, people?" And then, remember, he's our storm chaser, and he's brand new. So he's really looking at the charts from a very raw outlook. Like, so it should be fun. Crypto Sig, what do you want to do? Come on now. There he comes. You should do it. You know how I'm always being very pushy, right? Let's get you up on YouTube so that I can pass it on. What, the YouTube? I can get you back on YouTube. Are you listening to me right now on YouTube? Hold on. Okay, thanks, Dirk's Move. Crypto Sig, are you listening to me on YouTube? Listen to me on YouTube then, and let's get you powered up. Come on now, you could do half an hour. This is the chart as it stands, by the way. I kind of move some things around, but I'll take a picture of it so you can kind of see. And then you put your own chart up, and then I'll make you part of the member of the Chart Guild. It was not a disaster. Okay, just stop yourself. Okay, come on now. Come on now. That chart right there, that's a disaster. Okay, so what do you want to do? You're gonna love it. And Dirks will come over to your chat. I'll come over to your chat. And then this time what you're going to do is that you're going to save the broadcast for yourself. I mean, because this is the way it's going to have to work. Like you guys know, I will outlast and outtrade you for sure. And the longest that I've ever broadcasted by myself was 18 hours, okay? So I've done 24-hour broadcasts, but not by myself. And I've done weekend long broadcasts, which is, the Friday night to Sunday night, but not by myself. So, I've been on for, let me see, how long have I been on? We have been on for, we've been on for 5 hours. For 5 hours. So, come on now. In 3 hours, that's going to be 8 hours. So you can handle another 30 minutes. And then I get off the mic. Dude. Seriously. There's people that want to hear you. They want to hear the way you think. Because it's outrageous, people. We have a storm chaser trader, somebody that looks at the charts as if it is a weather pattern. It's a tornadic event. The price is actually, it really is a moment. It's not left to right static. There's actually momentum inside of the candles. And he's so new to charting that if we don't get all this early, he will be poisoned. Okay, in 6 months he won't know, and he will be poisoned. You hear me? Don't let that happen. Take your pure thoughts. No, dude. See, you know what your chart is? Okay, look at Dirk's move. He put the tricks up there. He's just started today, and I'm going to have to make him a member of the Chart Guild. So come on now. And by the way, a Chart Guild member, we really have to make it this way. A Chart Guild member has to be someone that enjoys the chart, someone that has actually been on mic. And those are the two things. And then I really should make it so that, you know, that they've done a YouTube video. It doesn't matter though. You have your charts. Okay, I'm not going to baby you anymore. That's ridiculous. You just, okay, on 3, 2, 1, are you going to power up a hangout? I know. Yes, Dirk's move. In fact, Barry White will not be enough. I want a combination of Barry White and Luther, if you don't mind if I say so. Thank you very much. Okay, but you're going to do your own hangout, okay? You're going to do your own hangout. That's the way that okay, if we build a media company, you have to do your own hangout. Okay, on 3, 2, 1, I need to have the link, the YouTube link. I'm waiting. I know the chart's going to move the moment that you get. The moment that you go online, the chart is going to move. Yeah, you get your blue Yeti ready. And CryptoSig will give you the panel link. And you do not have to come on cam at all. We lead by the charts, so you can come as you are in your jammies. And, first of all, I need the YouTube link. But remember, I was able to find you before because of your channel name. So I could probably find you once you go live on the channel name. And then what you want to send here inside of the Discord is the upstairs link, you know, the Hangouts link. And that way, if Dirk's move if he has the guts, he'll come on. You can use whatever you want. Yeah, the Crypto Watch. Is that your name now over there? Or Crypto Watchdog? Okay. All right. Are you live now? Did you press the button yet? And just pretend you're in the green room. You're just sorting things out, getting things ready. You don't have to say anything. You know this. You don't have to say anything for a good 5, 6 minutes. You can just hang out. All right, I'm going to look for you right now over YouTube. I'm so proud of you if you do this. Truly, I am. Okay, there we go. 4 views streamed 2 days ago. And we see you live. Crypto Watchdog. Crypto Watchdog. See the BitConnect? I see the 5 views streamed 12 minutes ago. So were you already on? But I don't see you live right now. But apparently you streamed 12 minutes ago, so you've already been on. Crypto Watchdog. You be Crypto Watchdog. I see you, but you're not live yet. Okay, that's good. All right, so this is the channel name, guys. And when he goes live, definitely visit the channel. But I want to encourage him to send the Hangout link over here so that Dirk's move, if he decides that he wants to accept the the Hangout link that he will actually be on mic. Have some earbuds in, have a good Wi-Fi connection, and you, as I said, you do not have to be camera ready. We do podcast. The variety of it is that it's a talk show podcast style, so that nobody has to get nervous about any of that. Just come as you are and hop into the panel. I'm going to refresh and see where you're at. What's this one subscriber thing? I'm going to subscribe to your channel right now. Okay, I just subscribed. You have a new subscriber, number 2. Be lucky. You'd be lucky. Send me a chart like we were looking at earlier. You want to do a static chart? The white one. I have to change the colors and everything because I'm doing a color remodel on the. Come on now, you're over at TradingView, right? I'm going to help you with this, okay? I'm going to help you with this. I know that the charts, that 1 minute chart is already done. So this is what I want you to do. Go to LTC, okay, BTC. Just start typing in LTC in the white part of the chart. Over at you don't have TradingView. So where are you getting your charts from? CryptoWatch? I'm sorry. Where are you getting your charts from? Because you can use whatever interface you want to. You don't have to use TradingView charts to talk about the chart. Then can you power up your BitMEX and not show your dash? Remember, privacy above all, right? Don't show your dash. Can you pop out the chat so that you're just looking at the on BitMEX? You're okay? All right, yeah, so just get that powered up. It'll be beautiful. People love to look at those charts. Yeah, you'll do good. It'll be fine. And it's good for Venezuela to issue its first 100 million petros. So you've got some news. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it just came across my desk. Oh, speaking of which, coming across my desk, I didn't do the Coinsy today. I need to do that. Do that real fast while you're powering up. We're getting ready for Crypto Watchdog to go live. And as he gets himself situated and sorted with his charts, and I will go into tonight's news that came across. It would have been the afternoon today, so of course, obviously it's a little late. I'll just read the headlines. Bitcoin Atom will fix the processing time problems of Bitcoin. One of the consistent features of many startup companies using blockchain technology is the increasing desire to cut out any third party. Blockchain disrupts the existing philosophy in the predictive market. Being able to acquire real-time sufficient and analytical information that would enable quality decision-making is the dream of every player in the global predictive market. Ripple's frenzied price rise could herald long-term growth. Ripple's recent price rise could lead to a self-fulfilling cycle of appreciation for the cryptographic asset. It's no secret the crypto space is in a speculative, frothy frenzy currently. Brazilian government plans to process petitions and write laws on Ethereum. Brazilian government is developing an Ethereum-based system to process electoral votes and petitions. The Brazilian government is seeking to move popular petitions, an inefficient electoral system of the country, onto the Ethereum network to process hundreds of millions of votes on the immutable blockchain network. Security and scalability. Senior consultant of Kairos Future compares Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Headline, price analysis for January 6th for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, IOTA, Litecoin, Meme, and Cardano. Global market cap rises above 800 billion. Charlie Lee is proposing a soft fork for Litecoin. And the last story is new adventures in cryptocurrency. Interest in cryptocurrency markets among traders is on the rise, especially since this red-hot asset class has a feature that the overall stock market has lacked for the last couple of years. Quote, volatility. Yes, indeed. Okay, so those are from the good folks at Coinsy. That is Coinsy.com. And YouTube can be a Coinsy for your news if you want to. I just read it from the desktop. This is not a solicitation whatsoever to opt in, but that is all from Coinsy.com. They deliver a two times a day, 8-minute read for your news. Okay, let's see if Crypto Watchdog is live yet. Okay, we should be able to go live in 3 minutes, and you're not live yet. Come on now. I don't know why. Don't know why. We will be on mute and look forward to a link. I will put it in our chat for the upcoming show with Crypto Watchdog. It's been wonderful spending these hours with you. And as you know, hashtag make money with beauty. And hashtag, if you want a relationship with me, put it on the blockchain. We welcome you to the Discord. If you come and visit, if you're a replay viewer, please go ahead and reach out to me on Twitter. My DMs are open, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye-bye.